Here's a zone blitz out, the 4-3 stack that we like to run. It's going to bring some pressure from the left outside linebacker. And the name of the blitz is called Sam 3 Fire. So let's go ahead and take a look at it as far as what the pass coverages and pass rush assignments look like. And as you look at it, you can see this is one of those 3 deep defenses. So you're going to have 3 deep defenders. In this case, it's going to be this guy right here, which happens to be the right cornerback. And then you're also going to have the free safety. And then finally, the left cornerback. These 3 guys are going to go ahead and play 3 deep coverage. And then underneath of them, you're going to have 3 defenders playing hook zones. In this case, you're going to have the right outside linebacker. Then you're going to have the middle linebacker as well as the strong safety. All 3 of these guys play hook zones. So that leaves us with 5 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback. We'll take a look at those 5 defenders here as you look at them. I'm going to go ahead and just point them out to you here. Those are the 5 defenders. And as we already pointed out, the one defender that we're looking to get pressure with this particular defense happens to be this guy right here, which is the left outside linebacker, who's going to shoot through the B gap and apply that pressure between the right guard and right tackle. So let's go ahead and take a look at the setup here and how we're going to do this. And what we need to do is take control of the right outside linebacker, and then we want to go ahead and bring him up into the gap between the left guard and left tackle. So here's the left guard right here. And then here's the left tackle as well. So we're going to put them in between there as far as the right outside linebacker. And the next thing that we need to do here is we're going to go ahead and put him in QB contained. So the right outside linebacker, as you can see, is now in QB contained. So the idea of this is for him to go out into this area here. And obviously he would be in QB contained, preventing the quarterback from rolling out. However, we're not going to do that with him, as you'll see as we continue with this breakdown. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the setup now, as you can see on your screen. So really what we did here essentially is just eliminated the right outside linebacker from dropping back into a hook zone, and now he's in QB contained. However, we still want him to drop back into this area here. So he's going to come out in this area here, and we want to drop him back. And the reason that we want to do that, and that's what you're going to see here, is that we want to make sure that we get one of these offensive linemen to go ahead and block him. In this case, we're looking to get this guy right here, in this case, the left guard. We want him to come out into this area here and look to block him. Now, we may wind up getting the left tackle instead, but we want one of these guys to come out here and look to block him, because that's going to change the way this blocking works out. If we don't do this, then we're not going to be able to get the pressure that we want coming from, as I said before, coming from the left outside linebacker shooting through this B gap. We're not going to get this pressure at all if we don't do this. Instead, he's going to end up being blocked more than likely by this guy right here, which is his right guard. So this right guard is going to end up blocking the linebacker there that we're looking to get pressure on. And so that's the reason that we need to do this with the right outside linebacker. So that's what we're going to do here is we're going to actually, as we go through this, you're going to see it on your screen. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have him go at an angle. So we're going to kind of move him at probably about the 7 o'clock position on our stick here. We're going to have him go in about the 7 or 8 o'clock position. So we want him to go into this direction here, where he comes down in this area here. And then once we see that the right outside, or excuse me, once we see the left outside linebacker gets to the B gap into this area here, and then what we're going to do with the right outside linebacker, we're actually going to drop him back into a hook zone where he's supposed to go. And then, as I said before, what we're looking for is to get one of these linemen, in this case, hopefully it's left guard or even the left tackle, to look to go out here and block him. And that's the whole idea of this. So that's what we want to show with this particular play. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to concentrate on a couple defenders here. This particular one here, which is going to be the left outside linebacker and then also the right outside linebacker. If you go into the lab and actually lab this play, you'll see this actually happen. Now keep in mind one thing here before we actually run it. If the fullback stays in the pass block, so here's the fullback right here. If he stays in the pass block towards the right, he's going to pick up this blitz, and it's not going to work. If he blocks to the left side, then there's a better chance that it might work. So just keep that in mind, that if they leave the fullback in the pass block to the right, not going to work. Even if they leave the halfback in the pass block to the right, probably not going to work. So there's some things that you got to be aware of when you run this. This is assuming that all 5 of guys are going out. Now, the cool thing is, even if they do leave the fullback in the pass block, then you're hoping that one of those guys can get past their men or one of the blockers and still able to get pressure on the quarterback. If you're playing on the PS4 and the Xbox One, the thing that I've noticed since I've been playing the game over the last week and a half or so, since I've been playing on these systems, in particular the Xbox Ones, what I've been playing on, is that if you do this, then you're going to find that these linemen get quicker pressure than they do if they're on the 360 or the PS3. That's the big thing that I've noticed this year, at least between the two systems, or the next gen and the old gen, is that it seems like the pressure comes a lot quicker. And so that's an advantage to us on the defense side of the ball. So let's go ahead and run this. And I want you guys, like I said, to go ahead and focus on those defenders I pointed out earlier, the right outside linebacker and the left outside linebacker. And you can see there's the pressure. And then as you look, as we go back here, let's go ahead and run this thing again. As you look here, you're going to notice, is what I was talking about earlier with this guy right here, this right outside linebacker. You can see that I'm in control of him, and I'm sliding him out towards the left while I'm in control of him. And the idea of this is to get this guy right here, which is this, in this case, this left guard, to look to block him into that type of direction here. You can see that's what I'm trying to do here, is to get him. And by the time I release him, then the left guard is going to go ahead and look to block back into this area here, but he's not going to be able to block the left outside linebackers. He comes towards the quarterback and puts the pressure on him. So that's the idea of this particular setup, is to try to bring that pressure coming from the left outside linebacker and getting that. Now, something else you can do with this play is you can actually flip it and still get the same results. The downside of doing that is that you may not be covering the tight end all that well. So normally I would run this where I have as it is. I would run it with, in this case, let's go back over here one more time. I would run it with the, if we're going to look at it here, I would run it with this particular look at here. I would have it set up where this guy is the one bringing the pressure. If the tight end's lined up on the same side as the left outside linebacker, then I would have him running this play as far as with the blitz. Now, say, for example, that the tight end was lined up over here. So let's just kind of try to show this a little bit. Say that the tight end was lined up over here. Then I would flip the defense and make the right outside linebacker the one that's going to apply the pressure on the quarterback, if that makes sense to you. So hopefully you guys can understand what I'm saying there on that. So, but as is, you want to run it as this way. And the other thing I want to tell you with this particular setup, you don't want to run this against spread type formations, because if you do, and say they come out in a spread formation, they have a, let's just pretend like they got a receiver out here in the slot, then you can see that he's going to be left uncovered, because since you bring this linebacker up in the B gap here, there's no one out here to cover him. So you wouldn't want to run this against a spread type formation. You can get away with a compressed formation and get away with it, but probably not a spread formation, or I probably wouldn't even run this against a gun type formation. So this play is probably better off running against a base type formation, such as the I-Form Pro, Strong Pro, some of the bigger formations, I-Form Big or I-Form Tight Pair, whatever. Those type of defenses are the ones, or offensive formations, that you want to run this against. So this play is called 4-3 Stack Sam 3 Fire.